Coming up, with the resort full, we'll be taking a look at some of your favourite hotels and Benidorm landmarks. Plus we will remind you of some of the current rules and celebrate the fact that Benidorm's nightlife is back. And I've lived in Benidorm a very long time, and I love sharing our resort with Benidorm fans old and new, bringing you up to speed with changes and updates. And since I know a lot of you won't have been back to Benidorm since the start of the pandemic, we're going to show you some of the best known places that we're sure you'll be missing. Benidorm is packed at the moment, with almost as many visitors as pre-pandemic. Figures released showed more than 80% occupancy for the first half of August, and just like the good old days, it's towel space only on the Levante Beach. The beach opens at 7 AM and it's a race to mark one's territory for the day with a collection of deck chairs, parasols and call boxes. Due to COVID restrictions this year, the first 6 metres of shoreline are designated for strolling only. But with the arrival of more people, this no man's land is hard to decipher in August. But although Benidorm is full, there are still very few Brits, which is pretty normal for summer and isn't worrying anybody yet. What we do have this year is lots and lots of French, and it's predominantly French that you can hear being spoken, aside from Spanish of course. Most of the tourists this year are arriving by car, so traffic is a nightmare and parking impossible. But hey, Benidorm's back in business and that's great news. But travel rules if you're flying into Spain are still the same. You need to be double jabbed or have a negative PCR to come in, and to travel back to the UK, you need a negative antigen test plus another on day 2 after your arrival home. And it's this that's still putting a lot of Brits off coming. So let's take a look at some of the hotels that are open right now, starting with everybody's favourite, the Rio Park. The Rio, as regulars refer to it, is a great place to stay either on your own or as a family because there's always lots going on. They have a full entertainment programme all day long to keep you busy, or you can just chill by the pool. Part of the Med Playa group, the Rio Park has been open since 1971 and the guests are very loyal, coming back year after year. It's even got its own Facebook fan club. And we often pop down of an evening to enjoy the fabulous entertainment which takes place poolside in the summer. Many other hotels that have used the time close to reinvent themselves. The Hotel Avenida, for example, have invested in some brand new comfort suites. And it certainly is comfortable, I know, as we've just stayed there. A super king-size bedroom, a separate lounge area, a full bathroom and not one but 2 balconies overlooking the old town. There's also a fabulous rooftop pool, and regulars will know I love the Hotel Avenida because it's in the middle of everything. It's absolutely the best place to soak up the holiday atmosphere at this time of year. It's close to the beach, the shops and the tapas bars, and sometimes we just pop in for dinner as there's always loads of choice. And here's a tip: if you're flying over and worried about the forms and the tests, the staff at the Hotel Avenida will help you. Thankfully, this is something more and more hotels are helping with. The Ambassador, for example, have just announced a similar service, so it's worth checking with the hotel before you book if this is something worrying you. And talking of the Ambassador, I'm sure many of you will be aware they've had a total rebuild since you were last here, and their shiny pink balconies will definitely become a landmark of the new town. The Flamingo Beach is another firm favourite with the Brits, so it's no surprise that as soon as restrictions were lifted, the pool was surrounded. An all-inclusive adults-only hotel, it's a perfect place for relaxing and staying hydrated with minimal effort. The Hotel Ajia is small and friendly and looks over the newly remodelled Avenida Mediterráneo. A bit more like a city hotel, I wanted to show you the Ahia because I love their pink pool on the roof. In fact, the whole Art Deco feel of the Ahia has made it my favourite breakfast club venue for me and my friends over the long winter months. And talking of food, if one of the things you're missing is the hotel buffet, when you come back you'll notice some subtle but important changes in the hotel dining rooms. For starters, everyone has to wear a mask until seated. You also have to respect social distancing, and many options are served as individual portions. Many hotels now provide gloves, others serve you at your table, and I think a lot of these changes are definitely here to stay. And after dinner, the Old Town is a great place to soak up the atmosphere. You have to remember the resort has been so quiet for so long that things that used to annoy us, like too many people in summer, are now a blessing. And whilst international visitors are still few and far between, this is normal for Benidorm. The Brits shy away from our high temperatures and our high prices in summer, and we can hardly blame them. Yes, the weather has been boiling recently, with daytime temperatures in the mid to late 30s. Except on the day we went for breakfast at the corner bar, in which case it was tipping it down. Definitely not what the tourists were expecting. To us locals it was a welcome change as it washed the streets and cleaned the air. But aside from that one day, it's been sunshine all summer, and the only place to stay cool is the pool or the sea. But bathers on the Poniente beach were shocked to spot an unwanted swimming partner recently in the form of a baby shark. The disoriented shark, which was in actual fact a tintoretta, was floundering close to the shore, and whilst the sea was evacuated, experts from the Oceanographic Sea Life Centre in Valencia had to be called into the rescue. The 2-metre long fish was transported way beyond Benidorm's island before being released back into the sea. But the excitement hasn't put bathers off, far from it. Our beaches are as full as they ever were pre-pandemia, which is a fantastic sight to see. Moving on now to the current restrictions here in Benidorm. Spain's 5th wave of COVID is currently subsiding, and figures over the last 15 days have dropped from over 700 to 350 per 100,000 people. So we've definitely turned a corner, but it's important we stay on track. For this reason, our curfew is still in place, at least until the next review at the end of August. And this means that everyone has to be indoors between the hours of 1 a.m. and 6 a.m. So last orders are at midnight and closing time is 12:30. This is frustrating for the holidaymakers and the locals too. With temperatures so high in the day, the locals and tourists use the night time to cool down and catch up, and the businesses just want to make some money while they can. That said, people are generally very respectful, and the local police are always nearby to disperse crowds if needed. Other restrictions still in place are of course the wearing of masks indoors, except when seated in a bar or restaurant, and whilst there's crowds around, you're also recommended to wear them outdoors, although it's not obligatory. Dancing still isn't allowed at the moment, but people are finding ways around it. Chair dancing is proving pretty popular, as is pavement dancing and even waltzing on the promenade. Unfortunately, smoking isn't allowed on bar terraces anymore. Smokers must move off the premises entirely, typically onto the pavement. And in the hotels, it's at the discretion of the management whether you can smoke anywhere on the premises, like around the pool for example. But generally, the curfew and restrictions don't bother most. Tourists can party earlier in the day if they choose, and keeping our numbers down is what's important right now. But best of all, folks, is that entertainment is back on, and something as simple as seeing the boards advertising the acts is a welcome sight indeed. Benidorm really does have the most amazing selection of entertainment, and it's mostly free. but the pandemic has been particularly hard on this sector because it's been one of the last restrictions to be lifted. And coincidentally, after several months closed for a refurb to replace the old pipes underground and modernise the surface, the famous square is now open again. But now they're back, and although it is still hard for the acts and the clubs having to close early, many have adapted by putting the shows on earlier, and it's just so brilliant to see the neon lights back on, albeit just for a few hours each evening. Yes folks, Benidorm is definitely back and getting busier by the day, and with our COVID numbers on the descent, now all we need is for the UK to relax some of the travel rules and let people visit more freely. In the meantime, we will continue to show you the things you miss and keep you informed of the need to knows until you can see this familiar sight for yourselves. We hope you enjoyed our video today. Please share it with anyone you know who loves Benidorm. Subscribe to our channel, leave us a comment, tell us what you're missing, and thanks for watching.